Hayden is happy with his lot, although he's not much of a talker. Like many fishermen, or rather ex-fishermen, these days he works on a salmon farm.
Normally, we start at 8 in the morning. It's a steady job. You know what you're going to earn and that you're going to get your money. Fishing was an unreliable business. Sometimes you had a good week. Sometimes you set out to sea for days without catching anything. Security, that's the most important thing about working on a salmon farm.
In recent years, salmon farms have been popping up all over the Faroe Islands. Almost every bay is dotted with the huge net cages in which the fish are bred. That's also true of Hvannasund. The bay has given its name to a village on its shores at the far edge of Europe. Almost everyone here used to make a living from fishing. Today, there's only one full-time fisherman. Everyone else works at the nearby salmon farm. The local mayor is happy because fish stocks around the islands have become heavily depleted. And Hvannasund is very remote, even for the Faroes. The future of her village would have looked bleak.
If we didn't have this fish farming, then we would have a problem yet, because the change in the fisheries has been great.
The Faroe Islands still live from fish. Salmon production has more than doubled in the last 5 years. The conditions here are ideal for aquaculture. These salmon meet the highest standards. But at the moment, the industry is profiting even more from international political events, namely the Ukraine crisis. The island's main competitors, Norway and Scotland, have been badly hit by the ban on agricultural imports imposed by Russia in reaction to Western sanctions. The Faroes, on the other hand, have been exempt from the import ban because the government didn't sign up to the Western trade embargo.
We felt that to be again hit on an embargo to Russia, which actually was one of the main countries which was been joining us and been together with us when the embargo was against us from the EU, we felt that we would not be a part of that embargo, and we would stick to that partnership, which we had been doing actually for many, many years.
The Faroe Islanders reject any criticism of the exports. They remember only too well that the EU banned herring and mackerel imports from the islands 2 years ago because of alleged overfishing. For more than a year, the islands lost an important market. For the government, that's reason enough to insist on their independence.
EU could learn that sometimes it's good not to be too bully. They were very bully against us as a small nation.
And yet, the Faroe Islands were not completely innocent in the dispute over fish quotas. Unilaterally, they more than tripled their herring quota in the North Sea, making things tricky for Denmark. The islands are part of the Danish kingdom, but are not a member of the EU. The Danes didn't want the embargo, but had to implement it as a member of the EU. Fish is a highly sensitive issue on the Faroes. Even the opposition only expressed mild dissent, warning against deepening the rift with the West too much.
It's not a crime not being sanctioned, so we trade, as other countries trade with their products, not being food products. When it comes to the political part, the strategical part, where we belong, I think it's very important that we say we stand by the West, and we understand what Europe is doing, we understand what the USA is doing, what NATO is doing, and we support that.
The salmon industry prefers to remain tight-lipped. They fear the dispute between East and West could disrupt business. The biggest producer, Bakkafrost, is careful in its choice of words.
The good access that we have to all markets are vital for us. This is both the case in the Far East, in the US, and of course also for Russia.
Hayden isn't worried about the dispute as long as his job remains secure, and he has a chance to put out to sea now and then. Fishing has become just a hobby for many people here in Hvannasund, at the far edge of Europe.